So, hello YouTube. I'm here with Luis, Marcelo, and Lau for another English immersion here on Talk Talk. Today, we will talk about systemic equity and the future of social responsibility. And let's do it. So, what it is social responsibility for you, Marcelo?
Well, it's a good topic, but depends on the kind of social programs. When it comes social programs related governments, uh, I'm not feel comfortable to talking about because the most of them have some kind of bias behind on that. But regarding the measurement, I would say social programs should be measured by how many people are able to live them, not by how many people enter them. I think it's so important to understand about it.
Yeah, but you answered what it is the social projects in general, but what it is for you social responsibility? Well, what comes in your mind? Comes in your mind when you think about someone talk about the social responsibility? Because, for example, given my own example, nowadays it's very related to enterprise social responsibilities. We talk about ESGs, and if I'm not wrong, and stuff like that. That it's related to this idea that not just governments, but even companies have this responsibility for the social welfare. So social responsibility for me is this idea that each individual and each group is responsible for our no, how to say it? Welfare? No, it's I think that's welfare, star. So, and for you, what is a social responsibility? When we talk about it, what comes in your mind?
The most big companies around the world has add in your intern politics, ACG, for example, environment, social, and governance. But to be honest, from my perspective, from the companies, ASG, it's not something profit. It's kind of hype because we need to care about the nature, care about the people, our people intern company. We need to have governance. We need to be flexibility, but at the same times, without lose governance. But from my point of view, ESG for no one company is something profit. Maybe there is something, beautiful, cool, nice to hear about it, but the most companies don't like this kind of, department on this on that. I think it's a just merchandise to spread that my company or your company has responsibility, social responsibility with people, nature, governance, stuff like that. But I learned in writing about it. ASG, it's not profitable. It's not profitable. It's just it's a ASG is hype right nowadays. Tá na moda.
No, that's
Mas
true.
não lucra, não dá retorno. É só, tipo assim, divulgar que a empresa tem responsabilidade com, por exemplo, Mariana, lá em Minas Gerais, aquele ocorrido todo, não deu em nada, cara, mas a ESG tá no hype. Então,
Oh, that's true. Many things I agree with you in many sense, but I really think that nowadays, as you said, you use the idea of something that is profitable or not, and I think all the companies, if you are not, ONGs or things like that, the first goal is have profits. And but the point is, if these entities that want to earn money uh, are paying attention on that, the point is maybe if it's not something that gives returns to them and give money to them, they at least I think avoid them to lose money because as you said nowadays the image it's very important for many companies for some of them more than others but if people believe that you're not enterprise that it's have this social responsibility or this environmental responsibility you can lose money you don't you agree for example with this idea.
Not really. Not really. To be honest, yeah. To be honest, not
No,
really.
no, that's okay. That's interesting. So, and what about you, Luis? What do you think about this idea of social responsibility? What comes to your mind when we talk about the social responsibility? If you would like to share our opinion about this idea of companies and corporations in general, be free to.
I think that's a beginning, and I think that's important. For instance, when a practical example that happened in my life, when I started to learn the piano when I was young, very young, I had the classical piano teacher, old ladies, kind of things. When I returned, when I was old, an old guy, the profile of the piano teacher was very different. Was all the teachers came from social projects, you know, and the social projects gave to these people a lot of opportunities in music, what is very difficult in Brazil. So was an amazing experience, and I don't think there's a. Well, I agree that all this ESG from companies is a hype, but I think that's it's a beginning, to start to change the things because I will know that all this searching for higher and higher profits is will not work in the future, But I think that's when we start to care, or you have opportunity to start social programs or social responsibility is a big progress. But I do believe that social responsibility should start on society, But I'm very happy when we have that we have in Brazil social programs like Bolsa Família and in the all types of social programs. I mean, I love it, and I would like to see more in big companies. I would like to see this because in nowadays is everything so difficult for everyone, and I think that you need to think in people who has, for instance, less opportunities and low income.
Very interesting. I totally agree with you. A lot of things to think about it, but the thing that I would like to highlight it more, it's at least this discussion that we have right now, and even the legal discussions that now it's not just something that it's a political thing, but it's an obligation that is different actors, not just anymore. The government is responsible, liable for just social things and also social responsibilities. Of course, the social projects, especially the policies, public policies, are very important. As this example of Bolsa Familia, it's a very also I think that is the most famous and the most important right now in Brazil. But these ideas that other agents, especially nowadays that we have big companies that are multinational, transnational companies that have sometimes more power than many governments. So it's interesting to think about and think about individual responsibility too, for this social responsibility, but that each one have to think about it, many things. So these three different actors, perspectives, very interesting for me. And what do you think about it, Leo? And just to say, guys, if someone want to comment others' opinions, please just turn on the microphone and go ahead. Go there, Leo.
So, to answer the first question, what's the social responsibility for me? I think it's not only think about me, but also about the others and the environment that we are living. So I think that's the meaning of the responsible social responsible. And I agree and disagree with both of them, Marcelo and Luis. About the Marcelo, I think he said about the it's not profitable. I agree, but in short term. In long term, I think everyone will pay the price. So I think we should be worried about that because people are start to dying. You can say that you are not seeing the nature doing the different things like the how can I say that I forgot the ancients and some things that it's not so common like the very hot weather, the very cold weather. So this is also it's bad for the how can I say to cultivating some aliments for us, you know. So probably the price of the things will be start increasing. So I think it's a thing that we should be worried about. No one's care because until now it's not so strong for it's not feeling the environment change. And about the other like the SG aggregates everything. So about this, Luis said, I agree that we should have some kind of social things, but not for how can I say that incentivize the people don't not the work but work informally, you know. So oh thanks Flood. Yeah, I didn't know about that. It's new vocabulary. I will write and try to memorize. Thank you. And about the social, the like the Bolsa Familia, I think it's not a good thing because if you think about it, you know, no one can survive earning like 600 reals. So everyone who has Bolsa Familia normally works informally. So it's a really bad thing to do. For me, I think we should have a kind of time, specific time that people should use the Bolsa Familia and also training them to work, you know. Like you have 2 years, you will receive at least a minimum salary, and you participate at the training. You have 2 years. After that, you are by your own. You know, I think nowadays we have a lot of peoples who they can earn informality way and also receive the Bolsa Familia. So you are incentivate the people that work formally. So they don't have the right ways, they don't have the how can I say it's hard to see what the people are going through because you don't have statistics about them. So that's why I don't agree. I agree with the both of them. But it's an
Interesting.
interesting
Someone would
topic.
like to say something? No, go ahead, Leo.
No,
Did you
but
finish?
it's a interesting topic because we have a lot of people
But yes.
don't want to discuss about that. Just think that you are right and everyone's wrong. So
No,
I
I
think
think
it's a
that's
good
the
thing.
most important thing is to maintain our open mind and
Yeah.
discuss. So, someone would like to say something because I have many things to say, but I don't want to monopolize this debate, this conversation. Because just to give an example, I remember when I worked in the I don't know how to say in the mayor. I know that a prefeitura de São Paulo. I don't know how to say it in English. Someone who would like to help me, I would be thanked. But the point is, I remember that I worked in the labor secretary. I think in the city hall, Luis. So and we had a program exactly as you said, Leo, that it was created in the Marcos government by a very famous economist, a Brazilian economist from Unicamp. I think it's Márcio Porchman. I just know the Porchman name, and it was exactly that. They created. It was in a moment in 2001 when especially in São Paulo and in the entire Brazil, we had a very high percent of the population that didn't have that was unemployed at this moment. And what they did, it was, we will hire this person, as a government for do things. And for the young people, it was something more formative, educational. So it was a work, but much more focused on teach them some skill for after, when the economy will be better, they could be employed in different things. And for the people who are more older, it was not so formative, but it was a kind of the work during the moment that they will be between jobs, So, and it was very, very good. I think that nowadays we still have this thing in São Paulo, but it's just something little. And unfortunately, I think that don't have this purpose so clear, not anymore. But it's a good example. That's something that you taught, but that's already exists, but it's just short and should be bigger, in my opinion, too. So, guys, I think that the second question is related to the what we was discussing, but I think that we can read and go deeper in this point. Would you like to read and answer, Marcelo, please, the second question?
Sure. Number 2. To what degree should global corporations be held accountable for the labor conditions in their entire supply chain? Well, I would say, until they really understand the people are responsibility of they. You know what I mean? For example, I hire you. You are my accountability, even if you stay work for me. Once you are fired or resign your contract, I don't have anything responsibility for you. It's all what it's my point of view about this kind of question. Or I really not understand well.
Just a little explanation, maybe, because it was not myself that created this question, but I really think that is interesting, because recently in the European Union, they enacted a law that it's related to this thing, that it's because as you said, this is in the entire world. If you hire someone in your company, you are responsible for the labor conditions. That's it's something from the industrial revolution, and people when the labor law started, and we started to have rights for good conditions of for work. But the point is, this when he for the entire supply chain. What it is supply chain? It's when a company it's hire other company that hire other company. So the point is, should this first company that's usually it's a very big and multinational company be held liable for example, things that, for example, a French company that's buy wood from a Brazilian company. Should this company be held liable for the bad conditions of work? For example, people that it's made as slavery in Brazil here. So what is happening right now is that in the European legal system, they have this possibility. And it would be, do you think that a French company, for example, should be held liable for something that is happening in their supply chain, which means in other companies that they are just having contracts with this company? There's not someone that they all hire directly, but it was very in a chain.
Okay, for sure. Listen, I spent a lot of time of my life, more professional life, working international company. So I have over 50 years of experience in my role nowadays. And look, We have, for example, we have Amazon Brazil, and we have Amazon USA. Each country has your own culture. Okay, okay. But even being the same company, in different culture, I would say there is a huge gap between of them, even being the same company. Because, for example, in Brazil, the most of the time you will be a Brazilian governance, like directors, CEO stuff, CFO, TEO, TFO, stuff like that. And each country works this way. It's, in my point of view, it's a really good, it's a really bad. Because, for example, even being the same company, it depends on the different culture, different countries. The culture should be the United States, or, for example, a L'Oreal from France, stuff like that. He's Brazil right now, but the culture should be the from France. I noticed when some kind of company installed in Brazil, start with the foreign governance, and across the time, being the Brazilians take control of this kind of department, stuff like that. In my point of view, this kind of departments is going on the bad way, É como, tipo assim, brasileiro o negócio, a coisa vai por água abaixo. Esse é meu ponto de vista como brasileiro. So, I would say, for example, like my example, Amazon from US. Okay, I'm gonna install one of our office in Brazil. I think shouldn't change nothing. Should be the same culture from US, the same roles, the same everything. In my it's my point of view about this kind of topic, That's why the same role, the labor conditions from US should be implemented in Brazil, the same. Even is the company, being Europe, Asia, stuff like that. For example, Chinese companies is domining our country, and I've been there in China for almost years. And they have a huge difference, the dynamic to work compare our dynamic here. They are most fast, they don't have rest, If you ask me, Marcelo, and now we should to implement the same dynamic in Brazil? Yeah, the same. So my point of view about it. I notice when the Brazilian people get the governance, the companies, everything is going to be bad from my perspective. It's not a rule. It's what I noticed during these 15 years.
I understand what you're saying, but for me, I don't agree, but I understand what you're saying. And I think that we should, because one thing it's when we company, for example, an international company has what we call filial in Portuguese. I don't know how to say it in English here, but it's different when we talk about a supply chain, because it's someone that's hiring another company that is not controlled by the international company, and that's even because for this responsibility for the labor conditions of filiais, they already have it. It's very common. We usually we have, for many reasons, we apply the rules of the country. So the law, the Brazilian law, if it's in Brazil, the U.S. law if it's in U.S. It's about us sovereignty. I don't know how to say soberania. I forgot. But this is more even more deep. That should then apply be held liable in cases of the supply chain. What do you think about it with this discussion here?
Very interesting and well, for instance, if you think like a big brands like something like Nike, for instance, Nike has is a global brand and is a very powerful. And if you think about the supply chain about Nike for a company like Nike, Nike has the power to exigir that a company who works for Nike to understand their labor, know their how. Eu não vou conseguir falar em inglês. Mas, por exemplo, uma empresa como Nike, uma empresa grande, tem condição de saber, por exemplo, como que uma subsidiária dela, um fornecedor dela, trabalha. E se esse fornecedor não trabalha bem, ela tem o direito de exigir que se exija condições minimal conditions to work, something like that. And I think it's this because, like Marcelo said about the Chinese example, I am not a big fan of the capitalism in China, because for me it's the worst one because working class people don't have rights in China, if I'm not wrong, no. And I think that well, my point of view about this subject is this, big companies, global companies must have total understanding about all the supply chain, to avoid slavery, to avoid bad conditions, to avoid a lot kind of things, because in the end of the day, what is affect is the brand, not the the facilities and this kind of things. My personal opinion.
No, that's very good, and I agree with you. That's the point. They have this power of
Yes.
and the way the way that we call this law here in Europe, it's due diligence law. So it's in fact the name it's a CS triple G. So it's a corporate sustainability due diligence directive. It's the name of this because they have this power of just not just power but this do to be vigilant, to act with the most careful way possible. As you said. So if they have the power to know how this, as you said, the sneakers are being made, if it's using as slave labor or also workers in bad conditions, they should be held accountable for this bad conditions. I totally agree with you, and this is the idea of this European directive. And what do you think about Leo? This discussion here.
Well, for me, every company should be responsible for their supplies, even the small ones, because like us, if you see a motor like a motorcycle for a low price, a huge low price, know that it's the stolen by a motorcycle. So it's not a good thing. You if you don't see the why the thing are cheaper, it's obvious that it's a steal thing or something like that, some bad thing or slaver thing, slaver work. So, like the grape juice that Aurora recent, I think a few years ago, the Aurora was the juice, the grape juice Aurora was they saw a farmer that are making the people work for free, just to I give your food, but you need to work for me. It's a labor. So I think it's there are some things that of course there are when we have a small different price, it's not so obvious. But when it's a big huge price, different price, you can see it's something wrong. And if you don't close the eyes for that, it's you are being part of support these kind of things. And I think the the Principally the big ones should be a lot of responsible for that.
Very interesting. Go ahead, Luis.
Yes, I totally agree. Leo, it was a brilliant. This answer was a very delightful for us, and I was maybe here. My wife, she avoids to buy a lot of brands clothes that they use in Bangladesh and slavery people, for. So it's very important to have this because we can't uh, deal with that, because the world is becoming a very strange place for this kind of behavior, So slavery, very low income for working class people, this kind of things. Leo was amazing this uh, answer.
Thank you.
Very interesting. Go ahead, Leo.
No, I just say thank you.
Okay. So, guys, I think that this point, made us think about now about the individual accountability. So, I'd like to ask you about this point. What is the role of the individual in this social responsibility, in this also change things for better? So, what do you think about it, Marcelo?
Hey, it's about the number 3. Am I right?
Yeah, yes, it's related to number three. But
Okay.
you can say something, more general too. It's up to you.
So I would say for this kind of questions, we need to be careful about this social media, because for we don't be a vítima da propaganda, and preserve our own value for this kind of we have a lot of activism around the world. uh, one of them, some of them has really how can I say, um, sentido. Another, it's a bullshit, my point of view. I think we need to measure this kind of some activism around the world, for avoid and protect our values.
But for example, just not. I know that's the question number three. It's about activism, individual activism. But in the more broader way, thinking about individual responsibility, accountability. Do you think that we have this? Uh, what's the role of an individual in this social responsibility? Do you think that it's just, for example, vote for a government and the way and it's finished, or it's acting, for example, not buying products that that's it's made by slave labor, uh, or whatever. In this idea of a social responsibility, what's the role of the individual for
I, I
you?
gonna I will try answers. For example, the last controversial about the Havaianas. You remember that?
Yes.
I don't like Havaianas. Havaianas, even in this kind of situation, I hate Havaiana. I loved Havaiana before. Now I hate it. I was be able to answer about.
But in this case, you're saying that, for example, it's the individual accountability is to be aware of what is
Yeah,
happening and act in accord of your values, what you think that is better for the society
yeah,
in
for
general.
sure, totally.
Interesting, interesting. I agree with you at this point. That's the as a consumer, we have this kind of power. Honestly, I don't use too much in my life because usually I take things that it's cheaper. I don't search for information about the companies in general. But I know that's not the based in my own values is not what I should do. I must do. But I would like to hear from you, Luis. What do you think about this individual accountability for this social responsibility in general, the social well-being? I don't know how to say being-star. Let me check here because I'm trying to say all the time. But go ahead, Luis, please,
Well,
about this question.
I think that we should start small, because for instance, for me, we can be supportive, for instance, buying things for your locals. For instance, you can avoid big chains, fast food for your local food, these kind of things, and it's these small steps, and you need to understand that only I don't know how to say, but I think that we should start small, supporting your locals, and avoid big companies in the end.
Yeah,
For
it's
me, it's
interesting
this.
because the point is that 'cause if you think that I want to be a revolutionary or someone that changes the world, no, it's
No,
the small things. It's the maximum that we can do. The most part of us, if you're not also the president of Brazil, you can do too much. But it doesn't mean that you shouldn't do. That's a good point.
yeah. So I think that's important. You always support your uh, seus pares. So if you have conscious where you are, where you came from, I think the things start to work. So I think this is more important than patriotism, nationalism, these kind of things. I think it's important to support
The
your
people that you
neighborhood,
you you
support
are in
your
contact with.
yes, yes, yes. Then you wait for McDonald's. I don't know if you can tell the brands, so stuff like that.
No, no, yeah, of course we can hear. No, I like it what you said. And in my life, I'm trying to do it with my loved ones. It's something that I always try to discuss. The same discussion that we are having here. I try to do with people that I love. Even if we don't agree, if we don't have different values, I try to find things in common and discuss because I think that's the best that we can do. And of course, I try to be open-minded to understand their point of views too, and try to support them because the things are more complex than we think. It's not just about I like blue, you like yellow. No, there are other things. That's not just about color. It's about what we like to eat. The life is so complex. It's difficult. We will find if you stay here, you will find things that we agree and many others that we don't agree. And it doesn't mean that you one thing that I can really be sure that you are different for everyone. But what do you think about Leo about this individual responsibility in this society? For the
Well,
for the well-being of our society.
about I think the society is like you follow your own values, just try to do not do bad things. That's your own responsibility. But for change the system of about the society, I think as an individual you can do that. You must have a lot of people support your ideas and do some things like that. So I think as an individual you can do that. Like for me, I don't stole anyone. I don't throw the trash through the street. But I saw a lot of people doing that, but I don't care. I just don't do that. So, but as an individual, I can change that. It's not I say if I say for the people are doing that, probably they start to be angry and keep doing that, maybe doing worse than. So, you know, as an individual, I can do that, but if the entire society are following these kind of values, everyone will follow. It's like a friend. I said I have a few friends there. It's like it's kind of idiot friends that I have, but they when they travel to Japan and live there for like 1 year, they change a lot because everyone there has a culture, and if everyone follow this culture, you start to follow also because if you don't start, you see that something bad will happen to you, you know. So I think it's the power of society, not the power of individual people, you know.
Interesting, yeah. But it's so hard to understand, you know, because the society, what is society? It's also it's much more
Yeah,
than that, but it's also the group of people, you know, a
yeah.
group of individuals together with common goals, and I don't know.
Even
Ideally, it would be
yeah,
like that.
yeah. Even when you don't have like, if if you see everyone, it's like a psychological things, you know. If you see everyone doing same thing, you will start to do exact same thing. Even if you don't, if you even don't agree at all, you know. Like there's a lot of social experiment that they study about that. They show that people like if you see someone just sit down and when there's a social experiment that there is a noise that it's like an alarm that start to ring and everyone start to stand up and after they stop they sit down. It's then came a different guy. There's a lot of actors there. Everyone start to sit down and how can I say levantar and start to do that, keeping doing, and the other guys start to do it also. And when you see everyone there, it's not actors. It's a lot of common people and start to do that. They don't know why. Just do. You know. It's so
Just
it's not.
copy each other.
Yeah, it's not. It's why they decide to do. You know, normally the people follow things that they are seeing. You know, even the childs you see normally they are reflects of the parents.
That's true. Yeah, we have a bad example that it's related to the supporters of a football, soccer team, and you know that they do things that they usually, you know, would not do if it was not in this
Yeah,
massive behavior. You know, this thing
yeah,
that the people
yeah.
do together.
I
Yeah,
agree. I
interesting
think,
thing.
but I think it depends of the country. Like in Brazil, we have a mix of the cultures, so I think that's why it's hard to define what's the thing that define us. But when you see another countries like Japan, you see everyone's are strict, not strictly, it's strictly, but they follow some kind of rules. They don't throw the trash the floor. They always think about the other, not just about me. So you know, if everyone do the same things, normally you start to do the same. As my friends, it's look like a a caso perdido. But when I travel there, is live for 1 year there with such impressive change. I didn't recognize then because they are behavior well. They stop to do say a lot of how can I say bad words. You know, you see different things of them. You know, so I think that's why.
Very interesting. But I think that we don't have time for another questions as well, but I would like to ask you what do you think about Leo said, Luis and Marcelo? Because I found very interesting this part because my first impression was how we don't have we are rationals but not so much, you know, there are things that we just do. It's more instinctive than really rational that oh I'm thinking about it, and how we have to use it is and admit that human beings are not 100% rational, and you have to use it in our favor. What do you think, Luis and Marcelo?
I think we need have a, you know, you have a reference for them, you know, and judge in your on your own point of view about that. I usually to looking for reference, study about it, and bring to me and try to practice on that. This works, okay, very good. It doesn't work, change the next and try again. But I agree what I don't remember who said about the
Liu.
collective mindset. You know what I mean? Mindset, collective mindset. I'm not sure the sequence right now. For sure. But in the other hand, we need to be, be a little bit more reflect about something is kind of subjective in the and another way being democrat for you to live in society and respect each other.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And what about you, Luis, for finish?
Oh, totally agree, guys. And specifically about Brazil, we have a lot of challenges because we, like Leo said before, we are a big country, and we need I do believe that we need to balance a lot of things in our society, So I think that we have a lot of unbalanced and economic situation, educational situation, and we need to first correct this and think about what we expect to be a society, Because we don't need this nowadays feelings.
Understanding, and I totally agree with you. I think that that's the key, investment in the education and also that give the same opportunities for people shine. It's very very important, and especially we had this discussion last week. We especially living here in Europe, I realized that how it's important, have this same starting point and how it's better for everyone. There's no violence here, not just because there is not a culture of no violence. It's always that, but it was supported by the high levels of education for everyone. Everyone having a decent work job for pay their things. So many times I'm very someone that lose everything, and many times I lose my cell phone, my computer, and it was so easy to because the people just say, "Why are you take your cell phone if I have mine? Why are you taking your computer if I don't need it? I have money for basic things." So I totally agree with you. Guys, we don't have more time, but I would like to ask you how it was this conversation for you. For me, it was very interesting, very deep conversation. Hard to express myself. And I think that this kind of conversation is very good for improve our English and to think about it. And I would like to hear from you, Leo. Let's start with you. How was this conversation for you?
Well, it was really good. The topic it's a kind of polemic topic that we can't say with everyone. There are some guys they don't agree and they don't want to discuss about it. So I think it's good thing sometimes to think about, it's not a thing that common thing that we can speak with everyone. It's nice.
That's true. No, thank you, and thank you for everyone here for being, even if everyone here has different opinions, even if we agree in some parts, disagree, it was very, very good to see how we could discuss. Uh, Thank you, Leo, for remembering that. And what about you, Marcelo? Everything was good for you?
Interesting because I realizing on this kind of platform and while days, for example, uh, at there is some specific day or weekend we have a easier topics, and for your other hand we have for example like today we have a hard topic to discuss. It's a very good because push us to open the mind, listen to each other, and learning each other. It's so important.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Marcelo. And it's honestly, it was not myself that prepared, so I was a little bit on the not as you. For me, it was a surprise, and but I really like it. It's a very good topic and a deep one. What about you, Luis, for finish?
I totally agree about Marcelo said before and Leo as well. And this was a very rich immersion because when you have a lot of different kind of opinions, everything becoming more richer for us. I know this was very meaningful for me, this immersion. And was so cool, and I hope to, like Marcelo said before, sometimes we have a light topics, and now today we had a strong topic, a very hardcore topic to think about, and is this amazing, amazing. I like to say, it's very important to talk with real people with real opinions, So for me, it's very, very cool.
I totally agree. Thank you so much, Luis. And guys, we are finishing right now, but I would like to say thank you for all of you. It was amazing being here. Tomorrow we have another immersion here, my immersion. We'll talk about a totally different subject that's about memory and it's about personal identity and our recollections. So feel free if you are free, come to have another good discussion. If you are not, we will see each other in another opportunity. And thank you so much, guys. Bye bye.
Thank you. See you there.
Bye bye.